नमस्कार, रेडियो पाठशालामा तपाईलाई स्वागत छ। रेडियो पाठशाला मकवानपुरको नमुना विद्यालय आधुनिक राष्ट्रिय माध्यमिक विद्यालय संघको सहकार्यमा रेडियो सन्देश 106.9 मेगाहर्जले तयार पारेको हो। तपाई रेडियो पाठशाला, रेडियो सन्देश 106.9 मेगाहर्ज, अनलाइनमा रेडियोसन्देश.com, मोबाइल एप्लिकेशनमा रेडियो सन्देश फेसबुक पेज र युट्युब च्यानलमा रेडियो सन्देश अनलाइन टिभीमा एकैसाथ सुनिरहनु भएको छ। आज रेडियो पाठशालामा सामाजिक विषय पढाउनको लागि आउनु भएको छ सुरज बुढाथोकी। विद्यार्थी साथीहरू कपी कलम लिएर तयार रहनुहोला है।
Hello students, namaste and good morning. A warm welcome to you all in another episode of Radio Pathshala. Students, do you remember what did we study in our last episode of Radio Pathshala? Yes, you are correct. In our last episode of Radio Pathshala, we studied about traditional knowledge, skills and technology. Right? First of all, I described what is traditional knowledge, skills and technology. After that, I played you some songs and described one by one a few examples of our traditional knowledge, skills and technology. For example, we talked about Theki, Madani, Tuin, Halo, Jato, Panigatta, Silauta, Tulasi. All these are our traditional knowledge, skills and technology. They are very important to us. They are our identity. So we talked about these things in our last episode of Radio Pathshala. Students, in that way we completed our unit 2. हामीले असार 1 गतेबाट सुरु गरेको रेडियो पाठशालामा 2 वटा युनिटहरु सकिसकेका छौं. The first unit, it has got 2 questions. I already told you in the beginning. One very short question and one short question, and it has got 5 marks. Similarly, unit 2 also has got 2 questions, one very short question and one short question. It has also got 5 marks. And students, now we are going to start unit 3 from today. Unit 3 is our traditions, social norms and values. It also has got 2 questions, one very short question and one short question, and the marks is same, 5 marks. The question scheme is same. Now let's talk about the learning outcomes of unit 3. सिकाइ उपलब्धिहरु. भाइ बहिनीहरुले कुनै पनि पब्लिकेशनको सोशल स्टडीजको क्लास 9 को बुक फलो गरेको हुन सक्छ हो. But the main thing is learning outcome. It is same in all books. There are 4 major learning outcomes of unit 3. The first learning outcome is to give an introduction to our traditional arts. And the second learning outcome is to show the importance of secularism and religious tolerance. That is the second learning outcome of this unit. Third learning outcome is to describe the contribution of national luminaries to the nation and get inspired from them. That is number 3. And number 4, to be well known with the concept of empathy, cooperation and peace culture and perform accordingly. That is number 4. Alright, these are the 4 learning outcomes of unit 3. Now let's talk about the lessons of this unit. In unit 3, we have got 7 lessons. Nepali paintings. In Nepali, we can say Nepali Chitrakala. The second one is Nepali sculpture. In Nepali, we can say Nepali Murtikala. The third one is Nepali architecture. In Nepali, we can say Nepali Vastukala. The fourth one is secularism and religious tolerance in Nepal. Nepalमा धर्मनिरपेक्षता र धार्मिक सहिष्णुता. That's the fourth one. National luminaries and their contribution. राष्ट्रिय विभूतिहरू र उनीहरूको योगदान. That's the fifth one. Empathy and cooperation. समानुभूति र सहयोग. That's the sixth one. And the last one is peace culture. शान्ति संस्कृति. In this way, we have got 7 lessons in this unit. We will deal each of them one by one. Now let's start today's lesson. The first lesson of unit 3, that is Nepali paintings. Nepali चित्रकलाको बारेमा आज हाम्रो पहिलो पाठ नेपाली चित्रकला. When we talk about Nepali painting, we have to understand our Nepali tradition, because Nepali painting is directly related with Nepali traditions. Do you know tradition? Parampara? Yes, the thing that we have been doing since our forefathers' times. हामीले हाम्रो बाउबाजेको पालादेखि नै फलो गर्दै आइरहेको चलन चल्तीहरू, हामीले हाम्रो पुर्खादेखि नै मान्दै आइरहेको रीतिरिवाजहरूलाई हामी परम्परा भन्छौँ, ट्रेडिसन भन्छौँ, राइट? So our Nepali painting is directly related with our Nepali tradition of arts. Our Nepali painting has got a unique position in the world. It has got its unique identity in the world. Why? Because our Nepali tradition is unique in the world. You see, so Nepali tradition and Nepali paintings, they are interrelated. Since the ancient time, people from different countries visited our country to explore our unique tradition, to become a part of it, to experience it, and to learn from it. They visited our country from time to time. Because of its unique tradition, our country was always a center of attraction. It is still a center of attraction for foreigners. They come to our country because they know that they can't find such unique tradition anywhere in the world. In terms of territory, Nepal can be small, but in terms of our traditional importance, we are quite popular in the world. Now, students, in Unit 3, the first 3 lessons are related with our Nepali art, with our traditional Nepali arts. The first one that we are going to do now is Nepali painting, Nepali Chitrakala, and in the next episode we will talk about Nepali sculpture, Nepali Murtikala, and after that we will talk about Nepali architecture, that is Nepali Vastukala. So all these 3 lessons are related with our traditional arts. And students, before starting Nepali paintings, let me tell you one more thing about our tradition. The people who were involved in traditional arts like Nepali paintings, Nepali sculpture, Nepali architecture, who were they? Right, usually they were the devotees. Devotees, devotees. Devotees means the person who has got strong faith in their religion, who believes in their gods, जसले धर्ममा धेरै विश्वास गर्छ, जसको धेरै ठूलो आस्था हुन्छ धर्ममा, उनीहरूलाई हामी डिभोटीज भन्छौं. Usually the artists were devotees and they followed mainly Hinduism or Buddhism, because these 2 religions were quite popular in the ancient time, in the ancient Nepal. So the artists were either Hindu devotees or either Buddhist devotees, and the painting that they made, or you can say the art that they created, were for their god. They made their creation to express their faith in their god, and they believed that with their creation, with their art, they can get the blessings of their gods. Their work was like their prayers to the gods. Clear? For religious merits, they made drawings on holy books, they made idols, and they designed the temples or monasteries. They can become near to their creator. They believed in that. So they were engaged in making different kinds of arts. चाहे त्यो चित्रकला होस्, चाहे त्यो वास्तुकला होस्, चाहे त्यो मूर्तिकला होस्. Usually they were involved in them to show their faith to their god and to get the blessings of gods. Clear? Now, after this short description of traditional arts, let's start Nepali Chitrakala or Nepali painting. Alright? Are you ready with your learning materials? Alright then. Now let's start. First of all, let's talk what is a painting. Right? Painting, in simple term, you can say painting is a work of art. Painting is a work of creation. Painting is a work of imagination through which you express your feelings, through which you reflect your society, through which you show what you think, what is your society like, what's your traditions. All these things are reflected in your painting. So it is a work of art, it is a work of creation in which the painter's imagination, painter's thinking is reflected. When we talk about the history of painting, it is regarded that painting started in Nepal during the Lichavi period. It was started during the Lichavi period. And do you know which is the oldest painting of Nepal? Right. Pragya Paramita is the oldest painting of our country. In this painting, you can see the picture of Pancha Buddha and 5 stars and the picture of Pragya Paramita as well. So this is the oldest book painting of Nepal. Alright, now you know Pragya Paramita is the oldest painting of our country. Now let's talk about the different types of painting. Students, different types of painting. We have just 3 types of painting. The first type is book painting. The second one is scroll painting. And the third one is wall painting. Clear? Book painting, scroll painting and wall painting. These are the 3 types of painting. Now let's deal one by one. अब यिनीहरुलाई एक एक गरेर डिल गरौँ है भाइ बहिनीहरु हुन्छ. Okay, first one is book painting. With the word itself, now it's clear. I hope it's clear to you because book painting means the painting which is done usually on books. So in the past, usually painter painted pictures in holy books. धार्मिक किताबहरुमा प्रायसो चित्रहरु बनाइन्थ्यो. So because they were painted on the pages of holy books, they were called Grantha Chitra. Grantha means holy books. Because they were painted on holy books, they were called Grantha Chitra. Now, students, if you get a question like why book painting is called Grantha Chitra, then I hope you can easily write about it. Book paintings are also called as Grantha Chitra because they were usually painted on the holy books. Clear? Okay. Now let's talk about the different types of book painting. Especially we have got 3 types of book painting. One is called Tadpatra, another one is called Bhojpatra and another one is called Tamrapatra. You can also say that book paintings were done in 3 different things. When they were made on copper plate, तामाको पातामा बनाइयो भने त्यसलाई ताम्रपत्र भनिन्थ्यो. So when they were made on copper plate, they were called Tamrapatra. When they were made on tree barks, they were called Bhojpatra. रुखको बोक्रामा बनाइयो भने त्यसलाई भोजपत्र भनिन्थ्यो. And when they were made, when the paintings were made on the palm leaf, ताडीको पत्तामा बनाइयो भने त्यसलाई ताडपत्र भनिन्थ्यो. So in that way, we have got altogether 3 types of book painting: Tamrapatra, Bhojpatra and Tadpatra. And after the development of science and technology, after the invention of paper, people started to draw pictures on paper, right? But before that, usually book paintings were done on these 3 things: copper plate, tree barks and palm leaves. Clear? Now, my dear students, let's talk about the second type of painting, that is scroll painting. Yes, C-R-O-L-L, scroll painting. It is also known as Pauwa Chitra. In Nepali, we call it Pauwa Chitra. And in Tibetan language, we call it Thanka painting, T-H-A-N-K-A. And in Sanskrit language, it is called as Pata painting, P-A-T-T-A, Pata painting in Sanskrit language. And mostly scroll paintings are popular among the Hindus and the Buddhists. In Hindu culture and in Buddhist culture, scroll paintings are quite popular. The artist who made scroll painting, they had got two choices. उनीहरुसँग दुईवटा चोइसहरु थियो. Either they can make scroll painting on clothes or they can make on papers. So now you know scroll paintings are made either on clothes or either on papers. Scroll paintings are usually done using watercolors. Basically, there is the use of bright yellow, deep blue, deep green. These types of colors are usually used in scroll painting. Clear? And when we talk about the history of scroll painting, they didn't origin in our country. They originated in Tibet. So you can say scroll paintings were first originated in Tibet. Clear? And later on it was imported to our country. Scroll painting ko udgam sthal Tibet ho. It started from Tibet. It originated from Tibet. And later on Nepalese artists imported them to our country. And let me tell you one more thing. Around 4th and 5th century AD in China, scroll paintings were made to teach Buddhist moral lessons. And when we talk about the shape of scroll painting, it is either square or circular in shape. Clear? It is either square or circular in shape. And when we talk about the size of scroll painting, they were bigger than book paintings. And usually in a scroll painting, you can see different designs of natural scenes and things. There are different kinds of natural elements found in scroll painting. Natural elements like rivers, hills, clouds, flowers, trees. Natural scenes and natural things means you can see there are images of rivers, hills, clouds, flowers, birds, forest. All these things are there in scroll painting. And if you have visited Kathmandu, Lalitpur or Bhaktapur, I hope you might have seen different types of, different kinds of, different lengths of, different colors of scroll painting there. You can easily find scroll painting in Kathmandu, Lalitpur and Bhaktapur, usually in tourist areas, because mostly they are loved by tourists. People like to buy them. People like to take them to their home, to their country, because it is a unique piece of painting. And among tourists, it is known by the name of Thangka painting. यस्ता खालका पेन्टिङलाई थाङ्का पेन्टिङ भनिन्छ र यो काठमाडौँको पर्यटकीय स्थलहरूमा यसको राम्रो किनबेच छ. Now from this description you know that Thangka painting or scroll paintings are quite popular in major tourist spots of our country, and artists who are engaged in making Thangka painting are making their livelihood through such paintings. It is a good source of income to them. So if the country promotes the art of scroll painting, then it can be a good source of income. It can be a good source of income of foreign currency, you see. And also it can give employment to lots of people. So many people can get employment in this field of making scroll painting. Still we can see the importance of scroll painting in Buddhism. While performing different types of religious performances, विभिन्न धार्मिक अनुष्ठानहरूमा बौद्ध धर्मको विभिन्न धार्मिक अनुष्ठानहरूमा अझै पनि स्क्रल पेन्टिङको धेरै महत्त्व छ, थाङ्का पेन्टिङको धेरै महत्त्व छ. For example, in a Buddhist community, if somebody dies, a scroll painting is made, and that scroll painting is prepared to wish peace to the departed soul. मृत आत्माको चिर शान्तिको कामना गर्दै स्क्रल पेन्टिङलाई बनाइने गरिन्छ. And Also in Newari community, scroll painting has got importance. When somebody becomes 77 years old, at that time they have got one cultural rights. त्यतिखेर नेवारी कल्चरमा एउटा संस्कार हुन्छ. नेवारी समुदायमा यदि कुनै व्यक्ति 77 वर्ष पुग्छ भनेदेखि त्यस्तो अवस्थामा त्यहाँ एउटा संस्कार हुन्छ र त्यो संस्कारमा स्क्रल पेन्टिङको आवश्यकता पर्छ. When somebody becomes 77 years old in Newari community, there is a rituals called Bhim Ratharohan. And in Bhim Ratharohan, they needed scroll painting. To complete that rituals, there must be a scroll painting. And when we talk about the types of scroll painting, we have got two types of scroll painting. The first one is Pata painting and the next one is Mandala painting. These are the two types of scroll painting. Clear, students? Now you know that there are two types of scroll painting. The first one is Pata painting, P-A-T-A, Pata painting, and the second one is Mandala painting, M-A-N-D-A-L-A, Mandala painting. Now let's see what is the major difference between these two types of scroll painting. The first one, Pata painting. In Pata painting, there is an image of the main gods or goddesses at the center and other minor gods and goddesses are around it. So if you see a painting done on either cloth or paper where there is the main god at the center and other minor goddesses around it, you can say that it is a Pata painting, right? And if at the center there is no image of gods, there is an image of symbols instead. यदि सो पेन्टिङको बीचमा भगवानको फोटो नभइकन कुनै धार्मिक चिन्हहरूको फोटो राखिएको छ भनेदेखि त्यसलाई हामीले बुझ्नुपर्छ त्यो मण्डला पेन्टिङ हो, त्यो पाटा पेन्टिङ होइन. Because in a mandala painting there is a sign of objects, holy objects usually, like the sign of swastika. भाइ बहिनीहरूले तिहारमा स्वस्तिकाको चिन्ह बनाएको देखेको छौ होला पक्कै पनि घरमा. Also you have seen the symbol of Om. हिन्दू कल्चरमा ओमको धेरै ठुलो महत्व छ. यदि त्यो पेन्टिङको बीचमा ओमको चित्र बनाइएको छ भनेदेखि पनि त्यसलाई हामीले सजिलै चिन्न सक्छौं त्यो पाटा पेन्टिङ होइन, त्यो मण्डला पेन्टिङ हो. You can't find any images of gods or goddesses at the center of mandala painting. There is a holy symbol at the center and it is surrounded by minor deities. D-E-I-T-I-E-S. Deities means Devi Devtaharu in mandala painting. There can be just simple pictures of different designs, different colorful designs, different colorful pictures can be there in mandala. But in Pata painting, there must be the main deity at the center and other minor deities around it in Pata painting. Now you know the major difference between Pata painting and mandala painting, right? Now students, let's move on to the next one. The second type of painting is finished, that is scroll painting. Now let's start the third type of painting, that is wall painting. नेपालीमा यसलाई हामी भित्ते चित्र भन्छौं. Students, if you are from Tarai region, then you might have seen several भित्ते चित्र or wall painting in your community, in your villages. भाइ बहिनीहरूले आफ्नो गाउँ घरमा, आफ्नो क्षेत्रमा थुप्रै भित्ते चित्रहरू देखेको हुनुपर्छ. In simple terms, you can say a wall painting is a painting made on the walls of houses. If you talk about the origin of wall painting, in the past, people made wall painting usually on the monasteries or on the temples or on the walls of different buildings. And as you know, a work of art is a work of reflection of the society. Usually in the work of art, you can find the image of the society, the image of the age in which the painter lived. त्यो बनाउने कलाकार कुन समाजको हो, कुन समयमा त्यो कलाकारले आफ्नो जीवन बितायो, त्यो कलाकारको मूल्य मान्यता के छ, त्यो कलाकारको धर्म आस्था के हो, right? All these things are reflected on the paintings. They are reflected on their art. उनीहरूले बनाउने आफ्नो कलामा त्यसको प्रतिबिम्ब पाइन्छ. Students, do you know one thing? Wall painting is also called as Mithila painting. Why? Because it is quite popular in Mithila kingdom of our country. Mithila kingdom means those areas which is around the holy city of Janakpur. जनकपुर वरिपरि विकास भएको एउटा समाज जहाँ वाल पेन्टिङ को प्रचुर मात्रामा विकास भएको थियो प्राचीन समयमा. So this type of painting became quite popular around Mithila kingdom of our country, so they are also called as Mithila painting. Wall painting is also called as Mithila painting. But students, remember one thing, Mithila painting or wall painting didn't originate, didn't flourish, didn't start in Mithila kingdom of our country. It originated in Madhuban of India. So it is also called as Madhubani Chitrakala. Why? Because it originated in Madhuban of India. Now we know that why it is called Madhubani Chitrakala, right? अब भाइ बहिनीहरुलाई मधुबनी चित्रकला किन भनिन्छ वाल पेन्टिङलाई भनेर सोध्यो भने भाइ बहिनीहरुले पक्कै पनि भन्न सक्छौ है. It is called Madhubani Chitrakala because it flourished, it originated in Madhuban of India. Still now you can see different types of wall painting in Tarai region. The importance of wall painting in Tarai region hasn't decreased. यो घटेको छैन. Still now, especially in the homes of Tharu community, you can find wall painting made. Still in Tharu community, they love to make paintings on the walls of their houses. If you have got any friend from Tharu community, then you can talk to him or her. You can get lots of knowledge. He might have got some pictures in his mobile. He can show it to you, right? So the importance of wall painting is quite high in Tarai community, in Tharu community, and especially the women are involved in making such paintings on the walls of their houses, on the walls of their compounds. They are involved in making such pictures. They express their feelings in those pictures. They express their traditions in those pictures. They reflect their perspective, their point of view, their thinking in those pictures, and in the same time they do some creation. And the other importance of wall painting is it makes their house looks beautiful. It is also done for the purpose of decoration. And if you talk to them, they can tell you that they make such pictures on the walls of their house also to get the blessings of their gods, and also to keep the evil spirit out of their homes. So because of all these different reasons, people make wall paintings. Is it clear? भाइ बहिनीहरुले यो कुरा बुझ्यौ? घरमा नराम्रो तत्वहरुको प्रवेश नहोस् भनेर पनि वाल पेन्टिङ बनाइरहेको छ मानिसहरुले. आफ्नो सृजना देखाउनको लागि पनि बनाइन्छ. आफ्नो भावनालाई प्रस्तुत गर्न पनि यो वाल पेन्टिङको निर्माण गरिन्छ. आफ्नो घरलाई शृंगार्न पनि वाल पेन्टिङ बनाइन्छ. त्यसै गरेर आफ्नो परम्परालाई प्रतिबिम्ब गर्नलाई पनि वाल पेन्टिङहरु बनाइन्छ, भित्ते चित्रहरु बनाइन्छ. And during Nag Panchami, I hope you all paste the pictures of goddess snake, नाग देवता को pictures भाइ बहिनीहरुले आफ्नो घरको वालमा टाँस्छौ, right? This is also a kind of wall painting. And you might have got a small plant of tulasi at your home, and you might have pasted some pictures of gods or goddesses. You might have drawn some holy symbols on it. So this is also one example of wall painting, right? So students, in this way, in today's class, we talked about 3 different types of Nepali paintings. The first one is book painting, the second one is scroll painting, and the third one is wall painting. So students, in this way, now we have come to the end of today's class. Let's wrap up our today's episode of Radio Pathshala. But before going, I want to give you one homework. Try to write the importance of Nepali paintings. At least try to find out 4 importance of Nepali paintings. Alright? Okay students, this much for today. See you in next episode of Radio Pathshala. Till then, Be safe and keep your family safe. Bye-bye.
हस्त विद्यार्थी श्रोता, आजलाई रेडियो पाठशाला यति नै। रेडियो सुनेर साथ दिनु भएकोमा तपाईँ सम्पूर्णलाई धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद। भोलि फेरि रेडियो पाठशालाको साथमा उपस्थित हुनेछौँ। रेडियो पाठशाला तयार गर्न सहयोग गर्नुहुने विद्यालयका शिक्षक सुरज बुढाथोकीलाई धन्यवाद र रेडियो सन्देश 106.9 मेगाहर्जका प्रविधिबाट सहयोग गर्नुहुने प्राविधिक साथी सुरेश गुरुङलाई धन्यवाद दिँदै आजको कार्यक्रमबाट सम्पूर्ण पाठशाला टिम बिदा हुन्छौँ। नमस्कार।